Ever feel like your words bounce right off your child's ears? Like no matter how many times you say it, nothing changes, unless you yell? If you've been stuck in a cycle of repeating yourself, raising your voice, or just feeling invisible in your own home, this might be the most important parenting shift you ever make. Because today, I'm going to show you exactly how to get your child to truly listen, without yelling, nagging, or losing your cool. And what's even better? These 5 strategies won't just make daily life smoother, they'll help you build the kind of connection with your child that lasts a lifetime. Before we jump into the strategies, let's zoom out and understand what's really going on when a child doesn't listen. Children live in the present moment. Their brains are still wiring themselves, literally. Attention span? Still growing. Emotional regulation? Still learning. And curiosity? At full blast. Imagine trying to get your 4-year-old to put on their shoes while they're laser focused on stacking blocks. You say, "Let's go," and they don't respond, not because they're ignoring you, but because their whole world is that tower. Their brain hasn't yet mastered shifting gears the way adults do. This is particularly true for younger children whose brain is still developing. Research shows this development continues well into the 20s, which means even your teenager isn't fully equipped with adult-level attention skills, despite appearances. And here's something else. If they hear your voice mostly when it's attached to correction or frustration, they may begin to tune it out as a defense. It's not conscious, it's survival. They don't have the emotional maturity to separate the message from the tone. All they feel is pressure or disconnection. This phenomenon is called parent deafness by some child psychologists, a selective filtering that happens when a child's brain begins to associate a parent's voice with stress or demands rather than connection. Over time, this can evolve into a pattern where your words literally register differently in their brain than words from other sources. Then there's autonomy. Every no or delay isn't necessarily defiance, it might be your child asserting their emerging independence. Testing boundaries isn't bad behavior. It's how kids learn where those boundaries are. It's actually a healthy developmental milestone when your child begins to recognize themselves as separate from you, with their own thoughts and preferences. And yelling? Yelling flips a biological switch. It turns your child's brain from learning mode into survival mode. The message doesn't just get lost, it can do emotional damage over time. They might respond by shutting down, acting out, or seeming distant. But underneath it, their nervous system is saying, "I don't feel safe right now." Brain scans show that when children experience harsh verbal discipline, there's increased activity in their amygdala, the brain's fear center, and decreased activity in areas responsible for reasoning and language processing. This means they literally cannot think clearly or process your instructions when feeling threatened. Think back to a time someone yelled at you in anger. Did you feel motivated to do better? Or just hurt, confused, or angry? Kids aren't different, just smaller, with fewer emotional tools to process these powerful feelings. So, how do we reach them? How do we communicate in ways that actually land? First, get eye level. When you crouch down and make eye contact before speaking, you signal, "I'm here with you, not above you." It shifts the energy from command to connection. Try saying their name softly and waiting for them to look up before speaking. This one shift can radically improve the chance that your child hears and feels heard. This physical positioning is more than symbolic, it changes the power dynamic. When you tower over a child, their brain registers potential threat. But at eye level, you create what developmental psychologists call a zone of proximal development, a space where learning and cooperation can flourish because the child feels secure. Try placing a gentle hand on their shoulder or arm as you speak. This physical connection creates what neuroscientists call neural synchrony. Your calm nervous system can actually help regulate theirs through touch, making them more receptive to your words. Second, maintain a calm, grounded tone. Not robotic, but steady. Your child is scanning you for emotional cues. If you stay centered, they're more likely to stay regulated too. Even in a heated moment, try, "I see you're upset. I'm here to help." That sense of being seen and supported opens the door to cooperation. The science behind this is fascinating. Children co-regulate with their caregivers through a process called limbic resonance. Their emotional brain is literally taking cues from yours. When you manage your own frustration first, you're not just modeling self-control, you're biologically supporting their ability to settle. Practice taking 3 deep breaths before responding when tensions rise. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, and that calmness becomes contagious to your child. Third, give clear, manageable directions. Instead of "clean your room," say, "Please put your books on the shelf and your shoes in the closet." Specific steps give your child a path to success, and the confidence boost that comes with completing it. Consider that children under 10 typically struggle with what psychologists call sequential processing, following multi-step instructions. Their working memory can only hold a limited amount of information. Breaking tasks into small, clear chunks matches their cognitive abilities and sets them up for success rather than frustration. For more complex tasks, try the first then approach. First put away your toys, then we'll read that story you love. This creates motivation while keeping the steps manageable. You can even create visual checklists for routine tasks, allowing younger children to track their progress without constant reminders. Fourth, offer structured choices. Do you want to take your bath now or in 10 minutes? They feel involved, not bossed around, and the task still gets done. This small tweak often dissolves power struggles before they begin. When children feel some control within boundaries, it satisfies their developmental need for autonomy while still moving toward your goal. This approach builds decision-making skills that will serve them throughout life. The key is offering choices you're genuinely comfortable with, not false options that set up confrontation. For younger children, limiting choices to just 2 options prevents decision paralysis. For older kids, you might expand the possibilities. Would you prefer starting homework before dinner, right after, or after a 30-minute break? This respects their growing capacity for decision-making while maintaining necessary structure. Fifth, trust natural consequences. If your child refuses to wear a jacket, let them feel a few minutes of cold, not to punish, but to let experience guide their decision-making next time. Life is the best teacher when we allow it to be. Child development experts distinguish between natural consequences, those that happen on their own, and logical consequences, those you arrange that relate directly to the behavior. Both help children develop cause and effect thinking far more effectively than lectures or punishment. The key difference between consequences and punishment is intention. Consequences teach, while punishment seeks to make someone feel bad. When approaching consequences with a teaching mindset, I wonder what you'll learn from this experience, you preserve connection while allowing valuable life lessons to unfold. Now, let's talk about emotional tools that amplify all of this. Use the 5-second rule. Pause before reacting. That breath, that beat, is the space where calm replaces chaos. This pause activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, giving you access to your best parenting instincts rather than reactive patterns. Some parents find it helpful to silently count to 5 or repeat a calming phrase like, respond, don't react, in challenging moments. Whisper instead of shout. It sounds strange, but when you lower your voice, your child has to lean in to hear you. And that tiny act of leaning in? That's engagement. Whispering also creates a sense of intimacy and shared secrets, bypassing resistance and creating curiosity instead. This technique works particularly well during transitions or when emotions are starting to escalate. Embrace play. Turn routines into games. Let's march like dinosaurs to the bathroom. Play isn't just fun, it's their primary language for processing emotions and developing social skills. When you enter their playful world, you communicate in a way their brain is wired to respond to enthusiastically. Try playful paradox when appropriate. I bet you can't have those pajamas on before I count to 20. This channels their natural competitiveness in a positive direction. For older children, incorporate their interests. How would your favorite video game character handle cleaning up this room? And finally, praise what you want to see more of. You helped your brother without being asked. That was so thoughtful. Notice the good. Reinforce it. Children crave feeling capable and valued. Be specific with your praise rather than generic. I noticed how carefully you stacked those blocks, carries more weight than, good job. Research shows that praise focused on effort rather than inherent traits builds resilience and growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Parenting is noisy, messy, and nonlinear. Some days it feels like nothing is working. But when you shift from control to connection, from commands to collaboration, everything begins to change. Remember that these communication patterns are creating neural pathways in your child's developing brain. Each time you respond with patience instead of frustration, you're helping wire their brain for emotional regulation. Each time you offer choices instead of demands, you're building decision-making circuits. These aren't just discipline hacks. They're relationship builders. They help your child feel safe, seen, and supported, the real foundation of listening. And that foundation supports everything else: learning, confidence, emotional health, and the ability to form healthy relationships throughout life. So try one thing today. Just one. You don't have to transform overnight. Progress is enough. Your presence is enough. Start with the strategy that resonates most with you, the one that feels most natural or addresses your biggest challenge. We're in this together, and you're doing better than you think. Happy parenting.